Hello, my name is Eddie Wall. I am here with Hava Fernandez and Pat Moore to talk about the Arbor Rain. Just to kick things off, the Rain was the first board that you helped develop on Arbor, and I guess just in layman's terms, like what was your idea going into designing the board? What type of terrain did you want it to do, or what were your goals in the board?
Yeah. So when I when I got on Arbor and had the opportunity to kind of start the the concept of the candle line, the candle collection, we wanted to build a freestyle focused collection. And the first board that I wanted to build was just like an ATV, a really great all mountain freestyle board, real strong, and it's a stiffer board. It's directional twin, so it's really kind of made for riding the park, riding the backcountry, being able to ride switch. Your high end freestyle board, and the idea with that we had kind of starting off with this board was after we had the rain, we could expand outside of that to kind of build out a collection.
And that collection went on to become Candle.
Yeah. So when we were creating Candle, we wanted to come up with a name that kind of encapsulated new growth, and candle used in I guess forestry terms or uh one version of or one definition of candle is new growth of a pine tree. So if you go around and see on pine trees, there's usually a little sprout that sprouts straight up, and those are called candles. So, anyways, candle is defined as is new growth on a pine tree, and having that board and having that collection turn into um, the freestyle line within Arbor is really like for a lot of us park, riding rails, things like that. That's how you get your start. So that's the new growth within snowboarding. It's kind of like the first step for a lot of people, not everybody, but
Can you think of a moment connected to that board in your memory that was like a moment worth reliving?
yeah, I would say the first year of the rain. I was filming in South Lake, and there's this like really cool kind of like hourglass chute that I wanted to ride, and the top was obviously a bit wind loaded, and we knew that there was gonna it would slough and possibly break, but it was a thin amount of snow. It wasn't gonna be like a big catastrophic avalanche or anything. Um, but anyways, we thought it would be kind of like an exciting shot. So I come in and I drop in and I kind of do my first couple of turns, and I see the whole thing kind of fracturing around me. And at that moment, I had kind of the option of going right and just kind of stopping on the top, but just kind of knowing what to expect with that slope. I just decided to turn left and beeline it. But what I didn't know was that there's like these pillows inside of the hourglass chute, because it kind of separated. Um, so I turn and I point it and I'm picking up speed and I'm thinking like, all right, I'm just gonna like shoot through this chute. And then all of a sudden I'm in the air and just have to kind of freestyle it, and I do a little pillow, and it's nothing. It like after the fact it was like, oh, that's no big deal. But in the moment it was like kind of felt like hot feet. And but yeah, landed, rode out, got, far away from any type of danger. But it was kind of one of those moments when you wanted to have like a solid board under your feet, and being the first year of the rain, it was cool to be done like at after that shot being like, all right, that thing handled. I'm stoked on it.
Can you recall like your first time riding that board and your kind of first impressions of the riding experience? Like, were you like, oh, this thing's sick out of the gate? Or was it like a long process to get to where you wanted to go with it?
When I signed on to Arbor, it was a really fast prototyping process. We wanted to have a board for the next season. So I signed on. Eddie and I got straight to work designing a board. And we had our prototypes within a month. It was really fast. And the whole process was so cool to get to design a board from the ground up. Um, but it's pretty hilarious. We're designing this board for like, backcountry riding, big mountain, everything. And Eddie and I fly to the Snow Dome in New Jersey to test it out. And you know, that's fine. I knew exactly what I was after. And I knew how the board was going to ride. And we had a few different versions of it with different stiffness. And yeah, the crew behind building the board just absolutely nailed it. And we had the board within that first prototype. So it was a really streamlined process. But it was everything just kind of fell into place, and it flowed really well. But yeah, really fast prototype. But you know, in my mind's eye, it was a board that I had been wanting to build for a long time, so I knew exactly what I wanted.
What was your impression of the board like the first time you rode it in like a real snowboard park and like out in real powder?
After all the years of getting to design graphics for boards, I never got to design an actual snowboard. And that whole process of thinking about, side cut, taper, stiffness, all those different things, and how those decisions translate into how the board rides on snow is just it was magical. It was really cool. Magical. What a lame word.